It's a teen talk skating podcast where I embarrass myself. Hello, and welcome to a Teen Talk Skating podcast. I didn't say the episode number. That's weird. I always say the episode number. This is episode number 47 of the Teen Talk Skating podcast. My name is Van Gogh. I just said that. Let's be honest. I'm so weird right now. I just said that, but that's okay because we're on episode 47 and it's not a competition today. We've discussed like 7, 8 different competitions or something these last weeks, and I'm just like, whoa, that was a lot of competitions. But we're going back to something lovey and lovey-dovey, I don't know, and peaceful. I hope you all are doing very, very well. This week was a very emotional week for me. A lot of things happened that I was just like, oh, you're right. And, some of it did hurt, some of it did kind of break my heart, but I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna process, and I feel like I'm already starting to kind of accept that things are the way they are, and I can't change anything about that. I don't want to change anything about that. And that, someday it's all gonna be fine for me. But anyway, just me being dramatic. I had finals this week. That was also a huge thing. Oh my god, high school is poo poo. Sorry, so much stress. But I'm done with school for the semester. I did really well in most of my classes. We're not going to talk about a few of them. But I'm done with school this semester and I'm ready to bury myself in the sport of figure skating for 2 whole weeks. Merry Christmas to me. That's my Christmas present to myself. You know what I mean? I'm gonna sit down and watch like so much skating that it's gonna be like it's a vacation for me, not gonna lie. It's a vacation. That's my idea of a vacation. I don't know about going to like Hawaii or something, but my idea of a vacation is watching figure skating every single day for 2 weeks for like 5 hours a day. Yeah, anyway, hope y'all are doing well. I hope your lives are probably not as dramatic as mine. But yeah, let's go to our program of the week, which is a very, very fun and a very, very joyful program. Which I feel like this week I just needed that type of program. Yeah, let's see you there. Program of the week. Okay, so our program of the week this week is from a skater who I think is just known for being so fun, so like glam, so like just joyous on the ice, and I think that this program perfectly shows that. And that is from Poland, Ekaterina Kurokova, and her 2022 Olympics free skate to Charlie Chaplin, music from Charlie Chaplin films. I think this program is just so like so joyous, like, that's the word that comes to mind, is so joyous. Like, there's not a moment of this program that isn't filled with happiness, that isn't filled with just, like, jubilee. I don't know. I'm so dramatic with my words, but oh my god, my mouse. I'm using my mouse as a microphone today because I don't know. But, I had to think about this in context. So this is a free skate, and in the short program of the Olympics, in the women's event, Ekaterina Kodakova like almost didn't qualify to the free skate, and because she didn't really have a clean program. So for her to put down such a good, clean, mostly clean free skate was like the most magical moment. I feel like of one of the most magical moments of that women's event. And that women's event was quite dramatic, as we all know, but Ekaterina Kodakova was like a ray of sunshine, and this program is just so joyous and so memorable. She has so many moments where she just like lets go and lets free. Um, there's just a couple like transitional movements, or I feel like in between the jumps that make it look so good. I think a lot of the program has to do with kind of moving up and down. She's not standing up the whole time. She's, slightly crouching, slightly doing this, slightly going up. Like she's, there's transitional movements. And then the spin positions are really beautiful in this one. But I really enjoy, honestly, my favorite part has to be the step sequence where she just lets go of that. Because all the jumps are over with. She has the step sequence in the later half of the program after all the jumps. And she really does let go, and she's smiling, and she's really reaching for the stars. Like literally she's reaching for the stars, looking up. The hand movements are everywhere, like kind of half bowing towards the judges. And it just creates a really magical moment alongside this very beautiful music that I think just suits her so well. Um, that it feels so youthful, I think. It feels so let's just watch. Let's just watch and be calm for once. I think that is what Ekaterina Kudakova really want to do with this program. I think it's a beautiful program for her. And of course, at the end, she does her little Bielman spin at the very, very end with her layback. And then she tries to pinch herself because she just can't believe that it's real, and it's a cute moment. It's a genuine moment of just absolute joy for having such a good, clean program. And I think Ekaterina Kodakova, I wish her the best. Obviously, she is still competing. I love her so much as a fun, joyous skater. So yeah, please go check out Ekaterina Kodakova's 2022 Olympic free skate to Charlie Chaplin. That is just so fun to watch. And if you're a big fan, even if you're not a big fan, go check it out right after this podcast. Now it's time for the main episode. Yay. Are you happy about that? I don't know. Probably not. That was your program of the week. Okay, so like I said earlier, this is a episode that is not about competition, which is crazy because this is the first non-competition related episode we've done in a while. We had what was it? We had, all 6 Grand Prix and then the Grand Prix preview episode and then the Grand Prix final. Did I do an episode before the Grand Prix about a Grand Prix preview? I believe I did. Honestly, I cannot remember. I don't even remember what I uploaded, but I feel like the last episode that was not about a specific competition was the episode I did about social media and figure skating. That actually went really well. Thanks for checking that out. Um, but yeah, so this is a competition, or not a competition. This is a non-competition related episode. I think we just need a break. Obviously, there's no major competitions going on right now, and so we're able to take that little break. Actually, wow, that was a long time ago. Episode 36 was the last non-competition related episode, and we're on episode 47 now, which is a bit cray-cray. Wow. Okay, so yeah, so obviously haven't had this type of competition or episode, this type of competition, this type of episode in a while. I think we all need a break from all the chaos. The holiday season is coming up. Christmas is here. We need a break, okay? Work, school, your life, my life. Oh my gosh, my life is a doozy for sure. But I really needed a break from all the chaos, which is why we're really here today to relax, to be cool, to be kind, and I really want to do this episode kind of to discuss my love for the sport of figure skating because recently World Ice Skating Day, which is a kind of celebration put on by the ISU, the International Skating Union, just happened. World Ice Skating Day just happened, which it's the day to celebrate, of course, ice skating and specifically for me, figure skating. And I wanted to take the opportunity to really discuss my love for this sport, what I love about it, why it brings me so much joy and so much happiness, and I hope that it, really resonates with you as well. Not to sound sappy. I know I sound so sappy right now. But I hope it resonates with you as an audience, as the few people who will listen to this episode, why you love figure skating and you know, why you watch the sport, why you know, I don't know, why you ever do everything related to this. But um I really want to do that. I really wanted to, like, I don't know, express my appreciation for what this sport is. And obviously, I don't mean to say this is like the only downer part of this episode. I don't mean to say that this is a perfect sport by any means. Bad things happen all the time in the sport. There are so many bad things that happen kind of behind the scenes that I've talked about before. But today's episode is all about the happy. I want to focus on like the positives of the sport that make me and I know so many millions of other people around the world so happy to click on YouTube or go on TV or Peacock or whatever and watch this sport that we all love and enjoy together. So yeah, grab a cup of coffee, grab some popcorn, and I really want to make a very calm ASMR like I guess episode about why I love figure skating because I think that there's nothing like this elsewhere. Okay, so I have like a list of reasons. I have 9 different reasons, I guess. 9 different reasons. We'll see if I can get through all of them in this. Okay, reason number 1. Let's just get started, right? Reason number 1 is that figure skating never gets boring. I just think that this sport, it never gets boring. You just can't find this anywhere else. Like I think it never gets boring inside competitions and it never gets boring outside of competitions because inside competitions, you always have these crazy things happening. The men, obviously, we always say that the men are menning because a guy could go from eighth place in the short program to first place overall, or like Adam Fall, like 19th place in the short program to third overall. It's like the craziest things can happen in this sport that I feel you really can't replicate anywhere else. So there's so much excitement to me every time I go on the ISU results page and I click and I see, oh my God, who's won? Who's done really well in the free skate? Did so and so land the triple axel? I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so like, there's that rush in my heart every single time I click on a result because I just want to figure out who won, who did this, who did good. Um, and of course, in competitions, it's just so interesting to get to watch that atmosphere, especially if you're able to watch live either in person or in on TV or anything. Like watching live is so compelling and you almost feel like not stressed, but your heart is racing because you want your favorite to win and you're hoping no one falls, you're hoping everyone does really well. I want to see a little more artistry. It's just so interesting to me. And then outside of competition as well, like there's all these different skaters with all these different stories. Some skaters they come from, countries where ice skating or figure skating is not a thing at all. Others come from a country where, figure skating is like the hugest thing to do. Some people come from a background that isn't necessarily financially sufficient to fund their skating. And they work so hard. Others come from a figure skating family. Some people have coaches that used to be Olympic champions. It's like such like an interesting story. There's like storylines everywhere in figure skating. Sometimes figure skaters have like an alternate job that you never learned about, or like it's like the craziest thing to learn about some of these skater stories. You know, and of course, there's always those stories of like injury, and then the skater will come back like, yeah, let's go. Like, of course, we like a recent example is like Wakaba Higuchi, right? Injured, but then she comes back so strong. And I love that kind of thing in figure skating. We never like in other sports, it's hard to find that because in other sports the focus is a lot on more, usually more team based sports, and so you never really know that kind of story from other athletes. I don't watch other sports, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there isn't that much of a huge emphasis on that. Again, another thing inside of competitions is that there's different programs, right? No skater is doing the same exact thing as another skater. That's the thing. You might, rarely you have the same skaters doing the same exact jumping, but that is a really rare occurrence as well. And so you got to see, okay, are they doing two triple triples? Are they doing, what jumping pass are they doing in the second half? Or are they trying to triple axel? Are they trying to quad this time? Like, oh my gosh, they didn't land the quad in the last competition. Like, are they gonna land it now? I think that kind of thing is so riveting and it keeps the sport so exciting because every competition is different. With different programs as well. Obviously, you can have the technical side, like I just mentioned. Spins are beautiful and sequences as well. But of course, you also have the like artistic side. You have the skating skills. You have the composition, interpretation of the music. You have that overall performance, right? Because you never know, like with the music, I think you can get so creative. Other sports really, not a lot of other sports will have music that you kind of interpret and that you kind of skate to or move to. Um, but figure skating is, like, so amazing because you can pick any type of music, you can pick any type of style, and you're gonna dance to it, you're gonna skate to it so beautifully. And, there's so much, like, music that, like, comes from figure skating. I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but, like, there's some music I just, like, automatically associate. "Oh my god, remember when so and so did that program? Remember when, oh my gosh, Wakabuguchi, she did that running up that hill program that I love so much." But, um and even if another thing is that even if 2 skaters or 3 skaters or 5,000,000 skaters, they all skate to Carmen, they all skate to Bolero, as we always joke. I think each of those skaters always does it differently than another skater. You're never gonna find there's no copy and paste in figure skating, I think is what I'm trying to get at here, is that there's no, like, "Okay, this skater, they were like, this is the same story, the same program, same coaches, same jumps as the skater literally before them." Which I think, a lot of times it does get sometimes repetitive maybe in other sports, but figure skating is like, okay, yeah, you skated to Carmen, but I'm gonna skate to Carmen in my own different style, my own unique style. And I think that's what makes the sport so interesting. No one is trying to copy each other. Um, because this sport is about uniqueness, it's about individuality, or of course, if you're in pairs or ice dance, you're in a group or a duet or a duo, I guess. A duo? Yeah, a duo. That, you are both together, but you're still an individual team separate from other teams. And even in ice dance and pairs, those two skaters often have their own personalities, their own skating, their own choreography. And I just think figure skating is essentially a movement of the body. And I think you can move your body in so many different ways, so many different unique beautiful ways to like move and skate. And I just think that you can't get this anywhere else. It just never gets boring for me. Every season I'm like, okay, what are you skating to this season? What are you skating to this season? Who's a hot new skater this season? Who's doing really well, etc. I just think it's so fun to watch. um but yeah, that's my first point, is that it's never repetitive. There's nothing in this sport that is repetitive. Nothing at all is repetitive. Okay, point number two is that it's just so much more interesting than other sports to me. I don't want to diss, like, I'm not writing a diss track to all other sports, but I just personally, just my personal opinion, I just can't sit through like 2 hours of like the same thing happening over and over and over and over again. um I'd rather sit through, 4 hours of like a free skate and see all these different skaters with all these different programs, with all these different goals and motivations and ideas, and they're all so different and they're all doing the same sport at the same time. I think that's kind of crazy because I feel like in a lot of other sports, not to diss them, I promise I love you too, but they're all kind of trying to do the same exact thing, and that's how they're trying to win. In figure skating, it's like you're not really trying to do the same thing as another person. Like my last point, it's just so interesting, always so interesting that it's just like, wow, like that's so fun, that's so amazing, that's so unique. I think that's the main thing about figure skating, is that it is literally so unique and so interesting that you really can't replicate. Even you can't inside of figure skating, you can't replicate anything, but even outside of figure skating, there's no sport like figure skating. You can't say, oh, figure skating is basically like ice hockey plus gymnastics plus, you can't do it like that. You can't say it like that because it is so unique and so separate. What other sport are you gonna jump in the air, spin 4 times, and land on one blade that's like a quarter inch thick? I don't think you can find something like that. But yeah, I just find it, I don't want to say again, other sports are great as well, but to me, figure skating is so much more interesting because it's just, you can't get tired of this. This is amazing. This is a great sport to watch. Um, yeah. Okay, point number three then is that figure skating is art and sport combined. I always, we've had the debate before. I think I have an episode on this, don't I? I don't know. It's episode 47, so I forgot what episodes I've made. I've probably made an episode, I believe it was like to jump or to art or something like that, where I kind of talked about the debate between the technical ability that skaters have with, quads, triple axles and everything, against the artistic side, the competition, the skating scores. And of course, that is still a huge debate that is raging on today. But the reason why we even are having that debate in the first place is that figure skating is kind of both sport and art at the same time. If it was just sport, if it was just jumping and spinning and doing sequences, then we wouldn't be having that conversation, right? We would just say, yeah, jumping is obviously better. Who cares about art? But this is a sport where, yeah, art does matter. Art, the way you move does matter. The way you portray yourself does matter. And there's something inherently really beautiful in that. And obviously, it's caused a lot of strife and conflict and whatnot. But this is an art and a sport combined. You're never gonna you don't see that as much in other sports. You have skaters like Kevin Amos, for example, in his short program this season, who are taking moments to kind of pause and show art and not so much jumping. Jason Brown is a prime example as well. You're seeing art and you're seeing. That's me Discord. You're seeing so much beautiful art being done, and you're seeing um so much technical ability at the same time. Whereas, compared to, I don't know what else is there out there, compared to other sports where it just might be just the technical side, or, in art, it's just the artistic ability. It doesn't really matter your technical ability, I guess. I don't know. It does matter, but it's not so much as a balance, I guess. It is more of a balance if you're just getting between art and sport. You have to be able to do both to win. You can't win with just one. And I think that is so like remarkable about this sport. I love it so much because it's so remarkable. Um, it's I don't know. And again, obviously art is, unique. Art every person does art in a different way. And so that's why you get so many different, hand motions, so many different facial expressions, so many different, poses and spin positions even. I think, okay, now are you pretending that you're gonna, I don't know, fall? I don't know, that's bad. Are you pretending that you're in love? Are you pretending that you're fighting with heartbreak? You just never know. Every performance is difficult. This sport is not easy, obviously. Go stand on ice, you'll probably fall. But you have to look good at the same time doing it. That's so unique about figure skating. Like, you can't look ugly while you skate. No, you gotta look good. You gotta skate well. Um, I think one of the main prime examples of this, I feel like that I'm recalling, is Piper Gillis and Paul Poirier. Their free dance from the 2024 World Figure Skating Championships. That was their Wuthering Heights free dance. They were trying to tell this story about, the balance between hate and love, and that's the art part. But of course, they also had that sport part in them. They had to do their twizzles, they had to do their straight line lift, and all the same, they all the at the same time they had to put in that artistic motivation, that artistic factor that sets them apart from so many other teams. And I think it's beautiful to see that in a way. It's beautiful to see that these two are becoming married. These two are like kind of mixing with one another. They almost become the same, right? Sometimes to me it's like, well, are they trying to boost their component score now, or are they trying to boost their technical score? And honestly, it might be both, right? Because in and of itself, art and sport are almost the same thing. Perhaps, sport is just more of a physical art, and maybe art is more of a creative sport. Just saying. I don't know, that sounded kind of philosophical, but hang on, right? Hang on there, because to me it's a marriage of the two. That's how you become the best figure skater, is becoming a marriage of both art and sport. I think there are skaters who are trying to do that. Are you ever gonna get the perfect marriage? Probably not. But art and sport combined is, such a unique factor of figure skating. Okay, point number 4 is a little bit more fun, and point number 4 is that I've discovered so much music from this sport. Before I was, like, kinda into music. I wouldn't say, like, I'm, like, the most, like, music connoisseur. I can't say that word, like, ever, but I feel like some people know so much music. I'm like, "How do you know so much music?" You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, "Do you listen to music, like, every single waking moment of your life?" I mean, some people, that's kinda true. I know some people like that for sure. But, um but what was I saying? Literally, I've discovered so much music. Like, if you went on my Spotify, like, a lot of this music is from figure skating. Let me see. Taylor Swift is not really figure skating. Ryuichi Sakamoto, right? We've had so many programs to Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence, The Last Emperor, The Sheltering Sky. I think those are probably the main three from Ryuichi Sakamoto. And he's a film composer that in a lot of his music, it's being used in figure skating. Like Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence was once Mai Mihara's short program. The Sheltering Sky is Laranaki Gutmann's free skate this season. The Last Emperor was used by Chen Liu in the 90s. Who else? Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence was used by Kana Muramoto and Chris Reed in that beautiful free dance that they did. I think Daisuke Takahashi, no, Nobunari Oda had a Sheltering Sky program. And so that's just one large example of how, you know, Ryuichi Sakamoto is kind of an artist or a composer that I discovered through figure skating, and now I'm like so obsessed with his like his soundtracks, his artistry, and I found that through figure skating. Another really good example was when I first watched Ava Marie Ziegler. She did a free skate 2 seasons ago. Yeah, 2 seasons ago to Love in the Dark by Adele, and I like fell in love with that song. I think I listened to it, I don't know, it was definitely on my Spotify Wrapped. I listened to that song like for like I don't even know how long. I listened to Love in the Dark so much that week. It was just on repeat over and over because I thought like, oh my god, Ava Marie Ziegler, you made me fall in love with this this music because it was such a beautiful song. It's just like, oh my god, like this is so good. Um and yeah, another artist, Patrick Watson. I've also like heard a lot of his songs through figure skating. To Build a Home is obviously a huge workhorse. What else? Gosh, yeah, but it's just like that. Like every skater skates to something different. Where some people might do classical music, some people are doing film music, some people are doing a really contemporary song. But it's just like I've discovered so much of it and through figure skating, honestly, because I'm just like you're introduced to so many different styles, and obviously a lot of the songs are in English. I think that's another thing, but a lot of skaters skate to music that is from their own home country that you might not get a chance to necessarily hear anywhere else. And I think that is such a beautiful part about music is that figure skating is an international sport, and so the music used within it is also international. It's also very all over the world, and I just think that's so beautiful. I've listened to so many, like, gosh, what's a good example? I know Guignard and Fabri had an exhibition to a few Italian songs that were beautiful. I think Turkula and Verschluis also did that with a Finnish song, and you never get to hear. You might not. In your day-to-day life, probably you don't like, oh, I want to listen to some, Swedish song or some Finnish song or some Italian song. And then you hear it in figure skating, you're like, wow, that song is so beautiful. Maybe you don't understand what it means, but it is still so beautiful. And that's what I love about figure skating is that I've become more diverse in my music taste through this sport. So now when people ask me what my favorite music is, I actually seem interesting. Because before I'd be like, I don't really listen to music. I'm kidding. Um, Oh, here's another fun fact. I feel like I have never watched the movie La La Land. I know a bunch of people have. I know, I'm sorry. I have a really good friend. She's so into La La Land. We were actually talking about this earlier, which is crazy. But I'm pretty sure I have the whole La La Land soundtrack memorized just because of Fierce Getting. Ashley Wagner, Kazuki Tomono, like 5 million other skaters have used La La Land in their programs. And so I feel like I know every La La Land song. Someone in the Crowd, Another Day of Sun, Audition the Fool Who Dream, City of Stars. Kiara and Fabry did it too. Who else? Mia and Sebastian's theme, A Lovely Night. I just know like every song from La La Land. Basically, I feel like I know every song from La La Land because of Figure Skating. I've never seen the movie. I don't really know. I know it's a romance, but like I've never really known the plot or anything, and like I just know all the music because of this sport. That's just so much fun to me. I'm like, oh, when I hear the song, I'm like, oh my god, it's other people are like, oh, it's from La La Land. I'm like, oh, it's from Ashley Wagner's program, and I just think that's so much fun because I don't know. It's just so random that I'd like find music through figure skating. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember La La Land. I remember La La Land from Kazuki Tomono. Oh my god, that step sequence. And then you'll hear a piece of music, you're like, oh, I knew this. And sometimes I find pieces of music through figure skating that are actually like popular, like outside of it. I was like, well, I first knew this through figure skating. I did not know this from like TikTok. I don't know. I didn't know this through Instagram Reels. I only knew this through figure skating. Um, and so I love figure skating for that. And you know, I just think so many different styles is the thing. One skater might be skating a tango, some tango music. The next skater they're doing like heavy metal. I don't know, like you know what I mean. Like it's just so fun to see who picks what music choices. Some people say, oh, that fits their personality, or, oh my gosh, I bet their coach probably chose that for them because I just hate this music. I don't know, people like that. Awful. But, I've discovered so much music, and I've opened myself up to the world of music, I think, is the main thing. Because there's so much music that's just like, whoa, like I never knew you could skate to that, but look at you, you're skating to that. Um, and of course, the music helps with the different dance styles and the different choreography that's going on. And I love when skaters especially have two programs that are just like nothing alike. Their short program is completely different from their free skates. Like not even a joke. Like you're like a totally new skater when you hear it or when you see the program, you're like, wow. And the music is really, I think, a key factor into that. And yeah, so I really love the music in this. And okay, so that was point number 4. Point number 5 out of 9 is that maybe this is sappy. Figure skating to me is like a stress reliever. Um, I come home from school. I hate going to school sometimes. I hate tests and I hate having to study and I hate homework and everything. I think everyone can relate, right? Maybe you have work too. You come home from work. I don't want to do whatever for my boss. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. Like we all go through that. And to me, my favorite thing to go home to do is literally to go watch Carolina Costner's Ave Maria show program from the 2014 Olympics, or go watch any program that makes me happy. Yuna Aoki at the 2023 NHK Trophy, or who else makes me so, like, happy? I don't know. Turkeyland versus Lewis at the 2022 Olympics, or, Dinyar Fabry, any of their programs are so beautiful. And so it's just like, I think a main thing for me, the stress relieving part, is the idea that when I watch figure skating, that's like a whole different world for me. And, I always say that, I kind of I don't have friends that watch figure skating. I don't really like know anybody who also enjoys the sport as much as I do. I'm the crazy one in my friend group that is obsessed with the sport. But I almost enjoy that almost because it is my own kind of like private thing that I like to watch. It's like no one else really shares it. It is my own little thing. And so I don't have to stress about people arguing with me and we're like, no, I thought Una Kim's program was better. No, I don't have that. I can just make my own kind of opinions and have my own little world within my little bubble. Or, really me at my desk watching skating for 2 hours straight. Or me on the couch watching figure skating for 2 hours straight. Um, and within that world, homework don't exist. History class don't exist. Chemistry class don't exist. And that's so fun to me is that those worlds don't exist when I watch skating. What do you mean I got an assignment due tomorrow? No, I'm gonna go and watch Carolina Costner. I mean, I don't recommend procrastination because not good. But it's so special for me because my life can be really chaotic sometimes, but it's having that stability in my life, knowing that figure skating is almost like my pillow that I hug because it's like my own little thing, it's my own little world, and I don't have anything else really like that. That's just my own little thing. It's my own little special thing that no one else kind of has. And of course, you all have it as well if you're listening to the podcast. But yeah, I really do think figure skating's a stress reliever. Like I feel more relaxed when I see, oh, that beautiful triple loop. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, number 6 is the community, but especially not the bad people. There are a lot of bad people in the community of figure skating. I'm looking at you, figure skating Twitter. Sorry, sorry, not sorry. Hashtag. But the community of figure skating can be so joyful and so beautiful that we share in this sport. Like I said earlier, I think a lot of people are in a similar situation to me as in they love figure skating and they love watching this figure skating, but they don't necessarily have that space to enjoy with anyone in their family or their friend groups or their work or school or anything. And so what ends up happening is that they go, especially online. Reddit is like my figure skating Reddit is like my favorite place in the world sometimes on the internet. Because you can share that with other people, and being able to share something with other people is so beautiful and so, like, wow, you know what I mean? Being able to share that with some other people or, like, is it's beautiful. It's something that you can't find anywhere else, and so you go on the internet, you search up, "Wow, you also like so and so's program this season." No, I also have that opinion. I think their outfit is, like, so beautiful as well, and I just think that having that connection with other people you barely know, but it's still a connection because you don't have anyone else is so special. Oh, my nose, sorry guys. I feel like I'm half sick this this break too, I don't know. It's not even been a whole day from break yet, and I'm already sick. Whoa. I'm already tired as well. And so yeah, not the bad people, but the really good people who make you feel included, that make you feel that you're here for you. This is a sport for you. And so I love going on Reddit and they have like live chat like parties while competitions are happening. And I'm like, okay, what's your opinion? Do you think they're gonna be in first? Do you think the judges are gonna give them a low score, a high score? Um, and even outside of Reddit, you have, people like Rocker Skating or Skating Scores that are like so positive and so awesome and they share so much info with you and they're so wise and I'm just like I love this sport for like how it connects people from around the world. This is a sport enjoyed by the world and it's not just one specific country or one specific area. It's a global international sport. Um and that's what I love about it. Okay. Number 7 is number 7 is like where else do you get all of this? I dare you to name a single sport where you can get all of this that is the same thing. Sorry, I don't think you can. I don't think you can get this anywhere else. Where else are you gonna find the tragedies, the hopes, the stories, the comebacks? Where else are you gonna find Bolero and Carmen? Where else are you gonna find a triple axel and a Lutz? Where else are you gonna find, I don't know, this type of community? Where else are you gonna find such beautiful music selections? What else are you gonna find, such different scores and programs and this, very unique scoring system that we have a love-hate relationship with? Where else are you gonna find this beautiful thing that we all love and share and know as figure skating? I think that's the main thing. You're not gonna find that anywhere else. I dare you to. I'll give you $1,000,000 if you can find another sport like this, but I don't think you can. Um, but yeah. Okay, and then point number 8 is that I genuinely appreciate. Yeah, I feel like this isn't as much figure skating, this is more this podcast, but I genuinely appreciate this podcast as a space where I can express myself because you should literally see me at school. I'm like, I want to talk about Amber Glenn at school, but like literally no one's gonna know what I'm talking about. And so I go home and I rant about it on this podcast instead, and I'm sorry for that voice crack. But I genuinely appreciate that I have this available. I have this platform where I can just like I love Amber Glenn so much. And I have this platform where people are, listening from like around the world and they're like, they like it and like they want me to continue, I guess, or they're encouraging me to continue. And I'm able to express how I feel and, what I mean? Like, I'm able to express how I feel about everything and what I want and who I want and who I want to win and like, and I think that's also the same kind of thing you're finding on Reddit. I want Carrie Sakamoto to win because, I really think she's got it in this time. I really think that she's gonna do all her combos, or I think that Yuma Kageyama might land a triple axel or not what? I don't know. Or a quad flip, I don't know. Or I think that so and so, I really hope so and so comes back and they really become an underdog for the sport. And so, it's having that space to express yourself and that, this podcast, that's what this podcast is for me. And I know that's what the internet is for a lot of other people, like Twitter and Reddit and, all the skating forums that are out there, that it is a space where they can express themselves and they can share their opinions. And, most of the time they won't feel judged, they won't feel hurt, they won't feel like other people are perceiving them negatively or anything. They are able to be who they really want who they really want to be. I think that's the most beautiful thing about this sport is that it is somewhere where you can be yourself. Even if you are a skater, you can be yourself on the ice. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that we have and we love in this sport of figure skating. And so I genuinely appreciate it for being that for me because, not a lot of other places I have that ability to kind of speak my mind and be like, Amber Glenn should win everything. Amber Glenn world domination is still happening, by the way. But yeah, you can't get that anywhere else. I feel like sometimes is like other times you feel judged. I never feel judged. I never feel pressure to say one thing or another on this podcast. I really don't care. But yeah, that was point number 8, and now point number 9 is not really a point. It's more of like a hope. It's more of a wish, and that is like I hope that figure skating will go very, very far into the future. I really want to watch it for as long as my eyes still work, which honestly might not be for long because my eyes be a little weak. Honestly, my I think I'm so nearsighted. It's so bad. I wear glasses like 24/7. I wear glasses in my sleep. Um, oh my god, my Discord be like, ooh. Anyway, I hope this sport will go far in the future. I know a lot of people say figure skating is a dying sport. No one's watching it anymore. And maybe that is true, but I'm hoping that, there's like a renaissance of figure skating viewing because um I hope there's like a renaissance of figure skating because it is such a beautiful sport to watch that I really want to see it continue. Like it's not gonna end next season, right? It's not gonna end this season. It's gonna end so long ago, and we're gonna have that. Hopefully, we're gonna have that. Hopefully, forever, and I want to have that forever. I want to have that as long as I live. I want to see in the future like people can be trying quintuple jumps or something. You know what I mean? Um, People are going to be trying like these crazy combinations, and they're going to advance themselves, and other skaters will continue to advance themselves artistically as well. And I really want to watch that happen. I think I've grown as a person through watching the sport. I've learned a lot. There's been days I don't know, maybe it sounds cringy, but I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by Ilya Malinin and Amber Glenn and Jason Brown. I think they're so amazing, and like I want to be just like them and work hard and everything like that. Maybe that is kind of cringy, but that is kind of me, not gonna lie. And it's the sport that's just it's grown with me, and I've grown with it. Um, it continues to advance itself. There's still crazy things happening every single season. Recently we just had Mikhail Shadorov and his crazy triple quad combos that no one knows how he's doing, but that's what he's doing. And Ilya Malinin and his quad axel, Amber Glenn and her triple axel, and these really monumental these really monumental programs that are happening, and I think that it's special to watch. It's special to oh, my screen. It went off. Oops. And I want to see that happen. And I don't know. I almost get emotional because I don't want the sport to die at all. I will be the person who continues it. I will be the next president of the ISU. I'm launching the campaign right now. But yeah, I really want the sport to go far in the future. I do think that it will. Maybe it will get less interest. Maybe we'll get more interest. I just want to know that there is still people out there who love and do and enjoy figure skating as much as I do. I think that's really the most important thing. And so, yeah, I want to see in 50 years, in 80 years, when I'm long old and I maybe can't really watch it any that well anymore with my eyesight or something, that I'm still able to see like, oh yes, I'm gonna think back in time like, oh, remember when Amber Glenn? I remember Jason Brown all those years back when I was just a teenager, and I had that podcast, and I had that everything, because it's not gonna last forever, and I know these memories won't last forever. I think that's the sad part about figure skating, but I want to be able to look back and think about, I remember when Amber Glenn landed that triple axel for the first time. It was the best day of my life. And I remember when Elia Molina landed that quad axel live on TV at Skate America, and I was just like amazed at it. I remember when Jason Brown did that program at the Olympics, and I just thought it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And obviously, I want those memories to be made for other people because, you know, when the next generation, the one like after mine, when people have like my friends and whatever, they have kids and they have grandkids and they have great grandkids. I want them to be able, not all of them, they don't have to if they want to, but I want them to be able to watch figure skating as well and like to know what figure skating is and why it's such a beautiful and such a special sport. And I really think that that's the most important thing about figure skating and figure skaters is kind of carrying on that legacy of generations past while also building, the path for generations going forward. And I love this sport for everything it does. Maybe that was a really long rant about that last point, but I want this sport to go far in the future. I want it to last forever and ever and ever and ever. Um, Okay, with that, I want to say happy holidays to all of my listeners. Even if you don't celebrate any holidays, I hope you have an amazing winter break, maybe from school or just some time off with your family and friends and your loved ones, because you definitely deserve it after all this. I definitely deserve it after all this. Not gonna lie, not gonna lie. But thank you for absolutely everything. Um, Thank you. I'm also so grateful. Maybe I should have said this during the Thanksgiving episode, but I'm thankful for everything that a Teen Talk Skating podcast has brought me, which is honestly just a lot of laughing and lots of smiling and lots of joy in this episode that I've clearly demonstrated. Next episode we will probably have it's a competition episode. Next episode will be a review of all the major competitions happening so far. Oh my gosh, my oh, that was not good. Next episode will be a big review of all the major national competitions so far. So a lot of countries in December, um, a lot of countries in the December and January months are holding their, national figure skating championships to determine their national champions. So these are not international events, they're just national domestic events. And so I really want to discuss a lot of those major ones so far. We've had a lot of European countries do it. France is doing it, Germany is doing it, Italy's doing it, the UK has done theirs, and Japan is the big one as well. Japan is also doing their national competition that is going to end this weekend. I'm going to talk about it next weekend. I feel like that will be the really big one that I want to talk about. And so, yeah, next week will be a major review about the big national competition so far. Just an overall review of like who's going where, who will go to Europeans and Worlds as the different countries decide that. And with that, thank you so much for listening to episode 47 of a Teen Talk Skating podcast. My name is Van Gogh. Check us out next week as we talk about fun national competitions. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you have a great holiday season or a winter break, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye bye.